Okay, everyone, time to share poems. The theme this week was things that make us happy. Okay, only fair if I go first this time. I tried not to make it too long. Kicking a wall. Why do I keep kicking this wall? Because one day I'll kick it, and it will crumble to the ground, and it'll feel so good. Keep kicking, keep kicking! You think I'm too small to kick down a wall? If I keep kicking, it'll break before long. It'll be exactly the right size to kick a wall then. What if the wall never crumbles? Then my legs will become strong, and my feet will be tough, and I'll kick something down. Okay, yeah, there's nothing down there.
What's the wall you're kicking in, Miss Notsky?
I guess it's just a representation of all the things I like to do that people think are too hard for me. But actually, it's not really that complicated of a metaphor. Not really that complicated. In fact, I was actually literally thinking of kicking when I wrote this. Soccer? Soccer! I almost went for the ball rhyme, but I decided it would be too obvious. Do people really give you a shit about playing soccer, Natsuki? Yeah, sometimes. Last Thursday was rough because the coach actually started discouraging me. He told me that I was enthusiastic, but just didn't have the tools for being a successful player in college. I said that I wasn't necessarily trying to play super competitively or in college, just playing to do the best I can and have fun. Which he took okay, I guess. It's just that there are reasons to do things besides just winning or achieving short-term success, you know? Even if you completely fail at something over and over and never succeed, you almost always get something good out of it for yourself. Like new skills, or at least mental toughness in dealing with setbacks. That's why I play soccer. And it's not even like I suck or anything, I'm just not in that top tier of players. Well, Lassie, I know I've said this before, but it's actually hard to say anything about this poem that isn't, or doesn't just say itself. It just puts its message out, and there it is. And then we sort of just explain the whole meaning. We know it's even about one particular thing. But it's a good metaphor for benefiting from struggle. I agree. It's a very wholesome message. Anyone else before we move on?
I like the feeling of kicking down a wall. Yeah! Makes you feel powerful. Okay, I'll go next. Mine's about kittens.
Cat friend.
I met a kitten today. I saw a fluffy kitten who's a little shy. I took it in and gave it lots of pets. And as our friendship grows, the days go by. I love to watch my new friend jump and play and makes friends with all the other cats. And when it's sick, I take it to the vet. When one day it will leave, there's no avoiding that. So I feed it well, and see, it's growing strong. I let it prowl around outside at night. Cats are independent creatures, you know. They go off on their own when the time is right.
Did you mean I let it prowl around?
And then one day, my cat had moved along. I knew it would have to leave me behind one day.
One day.
But now wherever my little friend may go, part of it will still be mine in a way. I found it ran over by a car the next day.
It's not really about kittens. I was hoping it really would be about kittens. Not sure why I would be so optimistic. Well, it could still be about kittens. Cats really are independent spirits, but they are still good friends. And they're a good way to learn about the transience of things. You have to appreciate them while they're there.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder when I stop and pet some stray cats. When this kitty leaves, it goes to do whatever kitty business it has. Will I remember that I petted it or gave it a treat? If that cat has a little bit of happiness because of me and it remembers it, that's sort of like me having a spot in the kitty's heart. I'm always kind of surprised at how well you deal with the impermanence of things, Sayori.
I'm kind of horrified by it. Like, when I meet a stray cat, I'll pet it and show it love, but I'm immediately thinking about how long it will live on its own. And how sad it is that such a sweet little creature only comes into the world to die. Everything comes into the world to die, Monica. Sayori thinks about giving that cat a piece of herself to take with it, is how I understand her poem. But I'm afraid to feel kindly towards her kitten. If I do, it will hurt. This is why I don't like having pets. You always have that terrible moment of separation staring you in the face sooner or later. It's no excuse not to have pets. Anyway, I don't want to bum everyone out too bad, so I'll just go now. Purgatory is a way to heaven. I rest my pen and go to sleep, and when I wake up and get to leap, I jump, and there I am. There. I cry, I wail, I bawl. My happiness is so strong it hurts. Finally, oh finally, please let it be real. I love it here, I love you, I love everything. I hold tightly to my beloved, their necks soaked with my tears. The world is now bright and full, beautiful and unpredictable, and I am a part of it, and I will go where I will, queen of myself, crowned at last. But now I truly wake, and I know, no one buys the lottery ticket really thinking they'll win, but I like to buy the thought of what it would be like if they did. That was unusually straightforward for you. It's definitely got the form of a poem, but it's also laser-focused and feels like a short story. Or fan fiction. Good fan fiction, don't get me wrong though. No offense taken, that's definitely what's going on here. This week the poems were supposed to be about what makes us happy, and this makes me the happiest. It just hasn't happened yet, so I had to be a little fanfic-ish.
I know you'll get your wish one day, Monica.
Oh, don't give her false hope, Sayori.
But you better bring us with you, or at least come and visit.
I will.
Pinky swear?
Pinky swear. You better. I really liked your poem, Monica. It's really refreshing to be able to understand one of yours. And while it's kind of raw and wounded, it's honestly nice to hear you just directly say how you feel. I like that many of Monica's poems make you feel things through a veil of abstract or seemingly relevant words and concepts with meanings strictly internal to her. This one doesn't do that, but it still has much to recommend it. My favorite bits were the rush of spaceless words and the abrupt cut to the lottery ticket metaphor at the end. The words running together provided a breathless feeling that really got across her confabulation. And the seeming non sequitur provided a really jarring effect that was very appropriate to coming out of a good dream before you get to the really good part. MC, why don't you go next? Wait, is sequitur spelled with 2 U's or an O? I can't remember. The museum. Pulling a precious artifact from the ground. I'll take it to my museum. Dust it off. Lay it lovingly on a velvet pillow in a bulletproof glass box with 7 locks in a humidity-controlled room behind a grid of lasers in a locked vault in a bunker, then it won't get scratched. Are you hiding something, MC? Oh, that was quite different. I said last week that our poems were becoming more like Sayori's, but this is something else. This poem is the most unique to you that you've written so far. It's not really that much like any of our styles. You're developing your own way of doing things. Well, I really like it. It's pointed and it gets out quick. It's very punchy, basically. Although I can't figure out exactly what it's about.
It's about the opposite idea from my poem, I think. I want the precious thing to be free and happy when it leaves. MC wants to protect it and make sure it stays where it is, so that nothing ever harms it. But in doing so, he thinks he's being irrational as I read it. He does all of these incredibly elaborate preparations just so the artifact won't be scratched. So I think in part it's about fear. Nothing else would make you take such outlandish precautions. Anything else to add, MC? Nope. Alright, well that leaves you then, Yuri. She looked really happy to share today. World in a Cup. The end of a weary day. The world seems impersonal, filled with small acts of malice, petty cruelties, indifference. Then, they fill the kettle with clear water, a blessing of well-made tea. You must wait for it. You must anticipate it. Hear the water boiling, a delightful static. Place your cup down, put the tea inside. A moment is there, given to you, to revel in its scent and texture, to warm your cold hands over the hot kettle. And then the water falls into the cup. This water, married to this earth for eons. After an endless journey, it's here to meet you, and to be you for a little while. The tea leaves, too, filled with love, from people far away you'll never meet, yet who care for you through these leaves. Their tenderness for the leaves is their tenderness for you. The leaves are filled with other loves, from the soil and the sun, and the water too, which it now meets again, a joyous reunion. This tea contains rice, too, another small miracle of love and nature here to sustain you. History itself, too, sustains you in this rice. The rice was put there by poor peasants long ago, out of the necessity of 100 impoverished generations. Come, you small pleasures. On the first sip you are taken away. Everything fades away but the heat, the feel of the cup, the taste of the tea, your well-contented sigh. And the world is no longer indifferent. The world is the water, the world is the rice, the world is the tea. And the red is the sun, the soil, the love, the history. They've all built this gift for you and you alone. Thousands of years, or over thousands of years. Nothing exists anymore but your contentment. Breathing wheel. Wow! That poem was awesome, Yuri! That was a whole journey! There was so much to it! It's like that clip where they zoom in all the way from a proton to the whole universe and back for a cup of tea! It was super cool and I want to read it again!
Sarah takes Yuri's poem and starts rereading it. I agree. I feel like we should send this poem to be published somewhere. We can definitely do that. There are lots of places that consider poems for publication, and this is really great. I'm really proud of you, Yuri. If you want, I'm happy to try and get this published for you. It deserves it. No, that's okay. I'm glad you guys like it, but I really do mostly write just for myself and for you. I'm not sure I want anyone else to see it. Especially a bunch of critics that would probably pick apart the structure of the poem. Or some publication committee that would just judge it against a bunch of other nice poems. I'm just happy that you're able to enjoy it. Understand a little of my mind as it pertains to tea. Yuri, I know everyone else has said it, but I can officially confirm you totally killed it. You're on a pretty good roll recently with your poems, girl. It's not easy to make everyone happy or fit everyone's tastes around here. But you somehow keep doing it. We stand. Eep. You're much too kind. Thank you. Yuri looks lost in her own thoughts for a moment. Probably because she is. Yuri takes her head back and forth quickly. Or shakes her head back and forth quickly. Can we watch the movie now? All that kindness is going to my head and I need to relax a little. Of course, it's your day. And so they watched for 4 hours.
How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world! Fie on't! Ah, fie! 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed!
Shouldn't that be capitalized if it's after an exclamation point?
Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely!
Crawling in my skin!
Natsuki, stop.
These wounds that will not heal!
Shh. Okay, but he's totally an emo goth boy, though. That's sort of the point.
Thrift, Horatio! The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables!
Like what?
He's saying that obviously they got married so soon after the funeral so that they could use the leftovers from it.
Okay, that's hilarious.
Since brevity is the soul of wit.
Or as Shakespeare would have said, brevity. That was pretty good, not gonna lie.
Hey, can we take a break real quick? I need to stop hearing people say thou and stuff for a little while.
Sure, everyone. Get back here in 10 minutes, okay? The group gets up, stretches their legs, and separates out a bit. Who to check in with? Oh, boy. Take it from the bottom again. The mood is immediately sad. MC is sitting in one of the desks in the back. His left arm is hanging limp at his side. His right arm is thrown over the desk, and he is slumped over it, his head resting on his arm. He's apparently asleep. Under his arm, a piece of paper is faintly visible, along with a small bit of what looks like a very simple, unskilled drawing. Most of the drawing is hidden underneath his arm and head. On the opposite side of the room, Monica and Yuri briefly stop talking and to look over in MC's direction with concern. Then they look back at each other and continue their conversation. MC principally glance over his elbow. Is he peeking? Monica starts to turn towards him, and his head immediately goes back down. Perhaps he's only pretending to be asleep, but he definitely looks very tired. There are bags under his eyes, and when he briefly opens them, they're fairly red and weary. He couldn't have gotten more than 2 hours of sleep last night. Monica and Yuri occasionally glance over at him, but he doesn't look up again. The food gets festival this way. And see, we're going to start again. Coming. As he stands up, he crumples his drawing in his hand and throws it in the trash, where his drawings probably belong. This track is noticeably louder than other things.
You are welcome, but my uncle, father, and aunt mother are deceived! In what, my dear lord? I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Oh, poor Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, they're just there to be expendable. Yeah, they're just throwaway side characters and everyone else kinda knows it. Thankfully, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Never heard of it.
Me either.
Me either. I'm sure Monica has at least. No, what is it? You've never read Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead? I have not. Tomorrow I'm bringing it to school and you are reading it. Okay.
The play is the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
You know, I'd never seen this play before. I'd heard about it, obviously, but I thought it was just pretentious Shakespeare BS. But I'm actually impressed. This play is about the main character being extremely fucking indecisive. Is that the impressive part? Yeah, I guess I kind of expect it's just some gory love drama or something. But there's definitely depth here. The story is a lot weirder and has more personality than I expected.
I like the way it captures a broad range of emotion while it tells its story. There are a lot of little details about the relationships that make it believable. Like Laertes and Ophelia having their little bro-sis chat. Or the fact that you can totally tell that Horatio is Hamlet's favorite friend over all the posers.
I guess that's one way to put it.
That kind of thoughtful and believable detail is really important to a story. It makes the characters feel like real people. And it helps us care about them.
That is very true.
To a nunnery, go!
Oh, what a noble mind is the heir overthrown!
I don't understand why he's being so mean to Ophelia here.
There are a few theories on that. Some people say it's all for show because he knows he's being spied on. So it's just him playing up being crazy. But some people think he's mad at Ophelia because he now sees her as being on Claudius's team. So he's ranting at her for that reason, is another way to think about it. You know what I don't get? Why would she say her throne like that? I mean, you're not even saving any time by skipping pronouncing the V. When Shakespeare was writing, the apostrophe only recently started to be used to cover letter omissions like that. Today, we mostly only use apostrophes that way in contractions, but Shakespeare thought it was really novel. So he uses them everywhere for fun, even in situations that seem kind of silly. Also, here's being pretentious is what I'm saying. My favorite is earlier when he says, I am too much I, the sun, like omitting that end as anything. Oh, I am too much is the sun. So Shakespeare is just addicted to this punctuation meme. Got it. He's this legendary poet and author, but he's hyped for omitting letters to try out his sick new punctuation. That's pretty funny. Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I could use another break. Amen to that. The group's got us around the room. Okay, we took a check on Mario. Who check up on next? I mean, it is a 4-hour movie. It's not like they're gonna need multiple intermissions. Sayori and Natsuki in the hallway. And she said Akio was going to surprise Mia with flowers, but then Suya thought they were for her and took them before he could say anything.
Oh boy, that was probably a lot of drama.
Well, it depends on who you believe, because she said that's what Akio told her. But knowing him, maybe he was going to give the flowers to Suya all along, and her taking them is just what he told Mia to avoid trouble. I have no idea what they're talking about. And you also have to consider their source, because Tosh has a huge crush on the Akio in the first place, the Akio. So who knows what her motivations are?
Man, high school romance is complicated for some people. That's the one advantage of us being single.
To us of being single is a little weird.
Is that we don't have to worry about all that stuff.
And it's a good thing, too. I have enough drama on a daily basis without some significant other to worry about. Although there are plenty of times when I think it would be nice to have someone. Some low-drama person where we could just have a simple relationship and not care about what other people think. The week before the festival may have been a staged and fake, but god damn that crush feeling was real enough. Oh, are you saying MC spent the weekend with you? I can see how you could get hooked on it. What about you, Sayori? What are your feelings on the topic? Abrupt change of music.
I'm really worried about MC. Something is hurting him really badly. And I'm scared it's my fault.
Oh boy. Well, that was kind of out of nowhere for a question about relationships. Or maybe it wasn't. Sayori, how do you feel about MC?
Really scared for him.
That's not what I mean. I mean, you care about him, right?
Yeah, he's my best friend.
I mean that you love him, Sayori.
I can't say that I feel that way about him. I can't. I don't know.
But the week before the festival.
That was staged. You said it yourself. None of it counts.
I'm pretty sure our feelings...
It doesn't count. Natsuki, I'm a mess. The week before the festival proved that. I love MC, and I told him it turned out being the worst thing I've ever done to him. He deserves better than me. That's why I brought him to the literature club. I thought he might find someone better. Like Yuri or Monica. Or you. But then I had to be selfish. And it ruined everything. That's why I have to stop being selfish.
If you think you were selfish, that means you had some feeling of your own that you were acting on. And that's not selfish. The only thing you did that hurt MC, or was really selfish, well... There's no easy way to say it, but the selfish thing you did was killing yourself. Now, I know that there was more going on than just your own decision-making there. And you didn't think it was selfish, I know. You thought you were getting out of the way of everyone else's happiness. But you know damn well that's not how it turned out. You're very lucky in that way, you know. A lot of people who commit suicide never had to see the effects their decision has on others. They get to escape it. But you got to see exactly what it did to MC, even after he was freed. And what it did to all of us.
I know it was selfish, but I couldn't help it. Even after seeing everything that happened after I died and knowing how it hurt everyone. It's still hard to get away from those thoughts. I'm not in any danger of doing it or anything. At least not right now. Those thoughts are just there still. Always. And with all that floating around in my head, I can't talk to MC about how I feel about him. What if that gets him more emotionally invested? Then he'll get hurt even more when I go and screw things up. Even if I don't leave, I'll screw him and hurt him sooner or later.
Sayori, your fears are liars. I'm not saying you have feelings for MC, but if you do, you should absolutely tell him. I don't know much about love, but I know that love itself is never the problem. It's all the uncomplicated other feelings that mess with love that cause the problem. You should tell him. And if you're worried about hurting him, well, first of all, you shouldn't be. But even if you are worried about it, you should work on making yourself into a you that won't hurt him so badly. He'll never be hurt by you for the reasons you're afraid of. All those doubts and thinking you suck at stuff. He'd only be hurt by you embracing those doubts and fears. That's the thing that's really scary for him, I think. A long silence passes. We all care about you, too, you know. We'd be devastated if you were gone.
Too many feelings. I'll think of what you said. But let's stop talking about it for now. I'd rather just get back to being silly and lighthearted.
You've got it, champ. They're about to start the movie again, I think. Let's race to the sewing machine first, and then you'll have a legitimate excuse for being all red-faced.
Thank you, Natsuki.